Welcome to Black Belt Beauty Radio, a podcast fueled by a passion to support your journey in developing your most beautiful and optimal performance in life. Each episode is driven with the intention to elevate your mind. When we elevate our mind, we elevate our life. So get ready. It's time to rise.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Black Belt Beauty Radio. So today's Solosode, you guys, is all about following the bait, noticing. And it's funny, I had a couple of different ideas for what I wanted to record for this episode. That was a very kind of loud topic in my mind, but it's kind of like when you're getting dressed to go out. Sometimes you don't trust the first outfit you put on, even though it looks great. You're like, no, I gotta, try on a few more things. And then you end up going back to the original outfit. But yeah, so it's funny. So, and the reason why this really stood out to me is because number one, in my personal life, I'm always paying attention, but there have just been things that have been unfolding for me in my life lately that are so incredibly just amazing, basically. I mean, I feel like, I have a heightened sense of intuition, and it's almost like I've just been summoning certain things that I need to come into my life. And I'm paying attention to be able to capture how they come in and, how they really do, they're really playing into this path that I am on, and this path that is ultimately moving towards this vision that I hold for my life, the things that I want to actualize, within this vision for my life. And so it's funny because in saying that, I don't know if any of you guys know about notes from the universe, but it's a really fun, beautiful kind of email subscription, right? That I've been on for, I don't know, maybe like 2 years now. And it's like the universe sends you emails throughout the week, Monday through Friday. And, they're fun. They're really creatively written, and they're just like a sweet little treat to wake up to in the morning for me. And so last night I intended to record this episode, but I was traveling and I just was like cross-eyed by the end of the night, and I didn't want to record with my mind feeling that way. So anyways, when I woke up this morning and I read my note from the universe, I'm going to read it. It just, it like plays into the whole reason why I want to have this conversation right now. It's just perfect. So, okay. The note says, "Those little things that you alone see, Roxanne, aren't by chance. The sign, the squirrel, the dragonfly, the whisper, the song, the lily. It's me. I'm always with you. I'll do anything to reach you, to give you hope, keep you on track, answer your questions. Look even closer. The universe." I got chills right now. So, okay. The other night I was telling a very good friend of mine about some of the amazing things that have been surfacing for business and for my business, and just how it's been coming to me. And he said to me, you're really good at, capturing these things as they come, and not just, brushing them aside like, oh yeah, that happened and that, what a cool, almost like as if it's like a coincidence. Like he's like, and you're really good at pointing it out for others to be able to, see it in their own lives. And that actually was the catalyst to this podcast episode, because as these things have been happening, and by the way, they've been happening my entire life, but again, I'm just going to hyper focus on, the last couple weeks. I've been really thinking about this, and just this idea of like following the bait. There's a word that I love this word so much. It really, it comes to me in my meditation. It's actually kind of like a word that allows me to really dive deep and channel myself to go into a deep state of meditation. And the word is notice. So it's like when I feel like my mind starts to wander, I can pull myself back by just saying that word, notice. So now, back to my friend the other night when he said this to me, as I've been, experiencing these really profound, amazing, kind of magical, things that have been coming up into my life lately, that are so aligned with this path that I know I'm on and this, vision that I hold for my life. When he said that to me, I was like, you know what, this is something this could be very valuable for others to absorb, because I say this in my personal circle, when I'm explaining these things, that it is important to capture these, little or sometimes even not little experiences that come into our life that really, really, I see them as signs, as, support systems. And sometimes like they're very obvious, like it's like the answer that you've been waiting for, but you haven't had, right? But the little things I think are really incredibly important as well, because when we start paying attention to these things, you guys, and we're really appreciating them as like, oh shit, like I am really on this kind of, well, first of all, a path, but like, then it becomes this kind of treasure hunt, right? And this is especially important and powerful for people who are path creators. And, what that means is like, you are literally on your own unique path. You are following the voice within. You are following this vision that you hold for your life. You're not sure. You don't have the answers. You're on the fucking edge. You're like, wait, how is this going to go? And everybody in life is truly living in a state of uncertainty. We don't know what comes after this very moment, right? But I think that it's so much more the case when, you're someone like myself, straight up, where it's like I'm building a business that's straight from my heart, that's, out of pure vision and, and desire, obviously. And every day I get up and nobody tells me what to do or how to do it, right? It's like I need to be in full on receiving mode as often as I can. That is literally when I'm in my meditation. That is a huge kind of intention for me that I seek from my meditation, for me to surrender, to let go of any resistance, any kind of, worries or anything that is going to slow me down, close me up, and keep me from being able to be in this kind of receiving mode, right? So, because again, like as a path creator, as someone who is on the fringes of life, right? When we are closed, when we're not able to be in receiving mode, these signs, these little, wonderful things that we need for our life, for this vision to unfold, to actualize, can literally just like we're missing the bus on them. You know what I mean? So it's important, you guys, it's important to, first of all, understand that there is such a thing, when you are open, you are kind of summoning and channeling the things that you need, the things that you want for your life to come to you, because I think that, they're always coming to us. It's just a matter of where are we looking? Where are we at? Are we present? Are we paying attention? Are we noticing? Are things coming our way and we just kind of go, oh yeah, that was cool. Or, oh, here, let me give you an actual rad example. Or I think it's a rad example. So this morning in my meditation, I started thinking about yesterday, right? And at the top of my day, in my meditation yesterday, I received these words of like, you're going to receive something really amazing today. And So, this morning when I was thinking back to that, I was like, well, did I receive anything amazing? I mean, I had a beautiful day, right? But like, there wasn't, it's almost like I was expecting something like, oh shit, wow, look at this amazing thing, right? Whatever it would be. And, as I was thinking about it this morning in meditation, I'm like, did that happen? And then, oh man. So then I thought about it and I'm like, wait a second. So last night while I'm making dinner, I I looked up a certain podcast, right, that I'd never listened to before, but there's a book that I read recently and I wanted to hear, the author has a podcast. He has a couple of them actually. And I wanted to listen to one of his podcast episodes, right? Because I really love this book so much. And so I found only one episode from this podcast, which was really interesting. And, because it's been out for a couple of years. But anyways, I hit play on it and a couple things happened. Number one, I just really loved the whole character that I was receiving and listening to this guy. And so it's like, I already loved his book. I love the message so much that he put out in his book. And now I'm listening to him speak in his language. And I was like, dude, this guy is dope. And what was rad about that too, is that my best friend, she has a connection to him and she wants me to connect with him to kind of rap out about some work stuff. So that was cool. Right. And I'm thinking about this in my meditation this morning, but then aside from that, and I know I felt this as I was listening to the episode last night, you guys, he was answering a question and from one of his audience members. And the question was so incredible in relation to my own life and my own process and my business. Like he dropped some things that were so valuable to me in my process, exactly where I'm at in my business, that literally, or I know that the information I received last night not only made me feel really good about, the things that I'm doing and, kind of like confirm like, hey, you're kicking ass and you're on track, but there are actual tools that he dropped that I know are going to help me expand my business and what I'm doing right now to grow it. So, again, like going back. So when I thought about that in my meditation, and I felt it last night, but it's almost like, when I was thinking about something amazing, yesterday, it's almost, for a second, I was almost thinking like, oh, it didn't happen. And then my mind went to that moment of like, yes, it did. I had the choice. I can look at that, right? And just be like, oh, that was cool, that episode, right? But that's not how my brain works. That's not how my mind works. And the reason for that, you guys, is because, nothing means anything except the meaning we decide to give to it, right? I've said that before in this podcast. These are words that are visibly in my face, in my creative space at home. Nothing means anything except the meaning you decide to give to it. These are words that came to me in meditation a couple of years back, and they're profound and I love them and I live by them, right? So yeah, of course, it could have meant nothing or just like, oh, that was a great podcast. But for me, I look at it and I'm like, as a solopreneur, someone who is an absolute path creator, like following the bait, right? Really believing in this vision that I hold for my life. Fuck that. Like that was an actual gift that I received last night. Not only, like I said, was it very comforting in a way, it very much confirmed like, hey, you're doing the right things and keep doing it. And by the way, here's a couple things that could be helpful to you. That is so important to acknowledge. It really is. Now, that's one example in my personal life that was just recent, so it feels like robust to want to share it. But I'm going to invite you right now in your life. Can you pay attention? Can you look back? Maybe right now in your life, something happened to you today, recently, where you either, kind of just glossed over it, like, oh, that was cool. Like, can you look at something from a deeper perspective and go, I was thinking about that person and then they called, or this thing, I got this email and, it like actually was a big deal because it helped me in this, maybe like in a similar way to the podcast for me or whatever. I won't take too much time to try and paint examples, because I really believe that if you pause right now and you really think about certain things that have been surfacing for you in your life, that have been playing into, like, kind of offering support in a way, or have seemed very interesting or like a coincidence. If you pay deeper attention and you really notice them from this perspective that I'm offering you to look at from, man, it's bait, man. It's clues, it's signs. It's like my note from the universe. It's like, it's not just a chance happening, right? It can be if that's how you want to view it. But do you want to view it that way? I mean, first of all, that's just not as fun personally. Like, I love feeling like I'm on this fucking treasure hunt, And, because then it's like, everything is an adventure. Everything is an adventure. And it also keeps your mind and your energy, your frequency in a very open place of like, what else is going to happen? Like, what else can I call in? What else am I going to receive? Right? It's funny. On my Instagram stories, some of you guys might have seen this already. I recently recorded a couple podcasts, and in two of them, as I'm recording, this happened where I have a thing with hummingbirds. I have like an inside thing. It really means something to me. I love those hummingbirds so much, but they represent something very special to me, right? And I'm literally mid conversation, whether it was like me talking to the camera for my stories, talking to you guys, or talking to my guests in the podcast, and I'll see a hummingbird and I'm like, hummingbird, I can't even help it. It's so funny. I laugh at myself. But for me, when I see a hummingbird, it's like this, keep going. Yeah, it's happening. It's unfolding. And again, you guys, some people could roll their eyes. Some people, might be like, oh yeah, whatever, to stuff like this. I don't believe anybody who listens to the podcast would be doing that personally. But, I choose to value these, nuanced signs, these things that come in, these tools, these, support systems. I choose to see it all as bait to keep moving me towards the direction that I'm going. And I choose to really value it as confirmation that I am on my highest path, and that no matter how challenging it might be, and it is, it fucking is, and it's beautiful. I honor my challenges on the path. With all the answers I don't have yet, with all the things that I might need to really, take off, for things to grow in the way that I know that they're going to grow, for all the things I don't have yet, right? We can all relate to that. We all have things we don't have yet. When I see these things, when I notice them coming in, they just confirm to me like, yeah, it doesn't matter because it's all happening. It's all fucking happening. Keep going, keep staying open, keep calling it in, keep noticing, keep paying attention, and look closer, and then look closer. And looking closer, you look closer with an eagerness and an excitement. You're not let down if like you had a day where, oh, maybe you didn't see something that was like so profound. And I want to say that because I feel like that's important. It's just, you're on the edge, right? And you're like looking over with this open mind of like, ooh, something great's going to keep coming to me. Something cool, somebody great, something, and yeah, I mean, I wanted to put this out because it's, like I said, it's robust in me right now. And a lot of, these solosodes, instasodes, these solo episodes, period, that I create for you guys, 90% of where they come from is a very intuitive place of what I feel could be very serving to you in the moment, right? And this is a timeless concept because no matter where you are in your life, on your path, on your journey, if you can stop and, take a deeper look from this perspective of I'm on an adventure and there is constantly, support coming to me by way of clues and baits and actual solutions and things of that nature, people, opportunities, right? If I can be hyper aware and ultimately hyper present and open to receive them and then to acknowledge them as they come. That is the key thing, because the more that you acknowledge that this is happening, right? And it's not a coincidence or, oh my God, that was so weird. No, it's not fucking weird. It's you being on your path and you being open and you paying attention and it being served to you, right? You're calling it in. Listen, I can sit here and talk for hours about so many incredible experiences in my life that would make you go, what the fuck? Right? Like and that kind of leans into manifesting. And maybe I do need to create, in fact, I know I will create an entire episode, probably several. I'll bring in experts or whatever, like other people on this subject too, but just on the subject of manifesting. I have, look, we can say that the podcast I listened to last night, I manifested that because there were tools in that episode that are essential to, I know they're going to play a big role in helping me advance what I'm doing, right? So did I manifest that episode? Out of all the episodes, this guy has like several podcasts, right? And there was one particular podcast I really wanted to drop into. And the only episode that I could find was this one. And half the episode was, it was like 2 questions. And one question, which was, half of the entire episode, was specifically related to everything that I'm doing right now, or one big piece of what I'm doing in my business. That's incredible. That is not chance. That is not oh, wow, how cool, how weird. No, that is not. That is a support system I feel from, me being in alignment with this kind of force of life and my vision. And I fucking manifested that. So listen, here's what I want to leave you with. Pay attention. Look back. Look at your life right now. I have chills when I say this to you because it is so fucking real for me. Pay attention. Has anything been taking place recently where you're like, it's almost kind of weird, right? Like, shit, that was cool. Or like, damn, like, really? Or let's just say you can't really capture anything just recently. Fine, no stress, no worries. It doesn't mean you're not on the path or whatever. But I'm inviting you now, after you've listened to this, because there's no going back. Now your mind is open. Start paying close attention. Notice. Use that word. It's a fucking amazing, I think it's a very sexy word. Notice. Notice. After you listen to this episode, you're done with it. Notice what's happening, what's unfolding for you, who's coming in. What is that thing that just kind of, in quotations, randomly, came into your experience that was like, whoa, shit, this is like so cool for everything that I am doing or what I needed or et cetera, right? But here's the thing, notice. And the next thing I want to invite you to do is to get into the habit to start your morning, whether you meditate, you journal. I'm obviously, most of you know, I'm a huge advocate for both. I feel like it is such a cleansing, priming way to start the day. I can't imagine doing anything else at the start of my day. It's the first thing I do always. But whatever your, morning is like, if you could just give yourself a few minutes to breathe and to invite yourself to open up and to notice so that you can start your day in this receiving mode. I really, really, really believe that this is going to be a very serving and powerful tool for you. You're going to start paying attention. You're going to start seeing things, and you're going to feel really fucking good when you're like, oh shit, you know what? Even if I don't have all the answers, I know I'm exactly where I belong. Or maybe, some things will show you that you need to turn right or you need to turn left. But the point is that you're paying attention to be able to receive the signs, to know what to do. It's also something that lends to better decision making. That's a whole episode. That was actually the battle, you guys. That was like, I want to create an actual episode that is going to help you make more sound, secure decisions, supportive decisions in your life, and how I personally go about doing that. So this method, like when you start doing this, when you wake up and you start priming yourself to be open and to be in receiving mode, and then you start paying attention and you start getting these signs, it really helps you when you're in a situation and you need to make decisions and you're not sure. It all goes together. So anyways, it's a lot of information. I feel like I want to breathe personally and just, wrap this episode out by saying, I want to say a couple things actually. Whatever you're doing in your life right now, wherever you are, good fucking job, you guys. Good job. And this is I don't care if you feel like you're failing in some areas and you could be doing better. Yeah, so what? All of us can. Me too, every single day. Every single day I wake up and I acknowledge everything that I've been doing, the way I've been doing it, but I also wake up asking myself, cool, so let's do better now. We can find ways always to do better. So I just want to take a moment to say, wherever you are in your fucking life right now, good job. Keep going, because that energy and that momentum to me personally is much more serving than, judging and, being hard on yourself. And no, that's not at all. That's not sexy. Forget that shit. Okay. So anyways, aside from that, take a moment, pay attention, what's been happening, pay attention to what is about to, unfold for you as it's unfolding for you. Carve out a few minutes in your morning to breathe and to prime your mind to be open, to be in receiving mode. And then as it comes in, you guys, embrace it, appreciate it, and be excited, because the more you pay attention to things that are coming in this way, the more that you're going to see it all coming in. And that in of itself is very powerful momentum to keep you moving forward, to keep you on this unique path that you are on, that you are, creating for yourself. And it just feels really good when you're able to notice and appreciate it. So on that note, I'm going to leave you with all my love, with high fives. You got this shit. Hey, and let me know. I would love to have some dialogue with you guys about this. Like comment, on Instagram on this post, DM me. I want to know, like, are certain things popping up where you're like, oh shit, I listened to that episode and then, I noticed this. I would love to have that exchange with you. So please do not hold back. It's such a joy for me to connect with all of you, always. So, all right, you guys, lots of love, and I will catch you on the next one.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode, you guys. If you loved it, please share it on your social. Throw it up on your Instagram stories and tag me. I'm at Black Belt Beauty. I am also at Roxy Look, RoxyLook. I love connecting with you guys. This is a conversation that I want to just continue growing with you guys. So if you feel inspired to hit me up, do so in that space. I always enjoy hearing from you. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by rating it and reviewing it via iTunes. It's such supportive help, you guys. It really helps the visibility of this podcast. So I appreciate and thank you in advance for doing that. And last but not least, if you are interested in starting your own podcast, or perhaps you already have one and you need help with, editing your audio and the production of it, I cannot recommend my producers enough. Resonate Recordings, you guys, they are the bomb. I rely on them. They are an absolute supportive tool to me and my podcast. So check them out and let them know that Black Belt Beauty sent you. And on that note, you guys, I'm signing off with all my love and always looking forward to catching you on the next.